All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the December 1st, 2021 Bitcoin Cash Network discussion. To keep up to date on our discussions, please visit bitcoincashnetworkdiscussions.org. Today's topic of discussion is decentralized marketing strategies for Bitcoin Cash. There will be time for some audience questions at the end of the discussion, so please feel free to ask questions either here in the YouTube chat or in our Telegram channel, which is t.me/BCH Network Discussions. With me today are my fellow angels, Akane Yokoo, Cindy Wang, and Alejandro Blanco, as well as John Neary of General Protocols and Saqib Noor of One.Surgery. So we have a lot of things to discuss today as far as decentralized marketing. If I could give you all a few minutes just to briefly introduce yourself and what you do, that would be wonderful. And starting with Akane, could you please let us know what you do?
Sure. Hi, I'm Akane Yokoo. I'm a co-founder of Satoshi's Angels and also a co-organizer of Tokyo Bitcoin Cash meetups.
Awesome, thank you. Cindy, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hello all, it's Cindy, co-founder of Satoshi's Angels, and I newly founded BCH introductory website that is BCH101.com.
Awesome, thank you. Alejandro.
Yes, my name is Alejandro Blanco. I currently work for Satoshi's Angels, part of the LATAM social media channels.
Thank you very much. John.
Yes, my name is John Neary. I'm a co-founder and president of General Protocols. And I also work on other projects in Bitcoin Cash ecosystems such as Flipstarter and BCHN.
Thank you very much. Saqib.
Hi, I'm Saqib Noor. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'm the founder of One.Surgery, an organization dedicated to global surgery, and is now officially affiliated with Bitcoin Cash.
Fantastic. I have a lot of questions for you, and we'll get to those later. I'm really curious about what it is you're doing there and how this connects to BCH. I think maybe a lot of people don't know. But to begin, I'm interested in hearing about what Satoshi's Angels has been up to as far as marketing. Akane, would you like to go first?
Sure. So Satoshi's Angels' main mission is to bring crypto to the masses. And we're not like one coin maximalist or anything, but we're pretty much focused on BCH because we like BCH. And we think BCH is really useful money. And so what we try to do, bring adoption through education, marketing, events, community building, and etc. And specifically, what we do is one thing is we support meetups, and we pay the meetup.com subscription so that organizers can start the meetups, run the meetups without costing much money. And we also organize meetups ourselves and merchant adoption. We are running 2 campaigns right now. One is if you onboard a merchant, local merchant or online merchant, you get up to $30 reward. And also we just started a user campaign. It's you as a user, you spend Bitcoin Cash at some merchant and you get 20% back. Yes, and also we are approaching like payment service providers, like so that we can we can make them, we can ask them to support BCH so that we can get 10,000 merchants on board at once. We're working on that. And we also make summary videos and Eli 5, which is explain like I'm 5. It's like a easy to understand, digestible summary for events like, this one, like network discussions, so that people can understand what's going on in BCH we do a lot of things. Cindy makes a lot of educational videos, tutorial videos about like, what is BCH, how to use Smart BCH. And we also publish weekly Bitcoin Cash news in lots of medias. And our outreach has been 60,000 a week. And we do a lot of other things. But I want to pass the mic to Cindy because I really admire her way of marketing. It's really unique, very bold, and she gets a lot of outreach. And so, yeah, Cindy, would you like to talk about what you do?
Okay, now you want me.
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. So at Satoshi's Angels, I'm in charge of the content creation part, including BCH weekly news, tutorial videos, and writing essays, and hosting the Big Boys, Big Blogs live streams. So all data for these parts are amazing because all we got in China is people. So we never lack of traffic. But I want to share why I want to do this kind of jobs. So for weekly news is that I always wanted to start my own media in China because here media, we don't have so many media that is friendly to Bitcoin Cash. They seldom report any BCH related news. For example, not a single media here report BCH network upgrade. For the whole BCH community, we all know that network upgrade is a huge thing. But media here never doesn't give it a shit. No one reported. So I always want to start my own media, but it's just very hard to start a crypto related company in China. So I wondered maybe I can start it with something small and serve the BCH community, only serve the BCH community first. So that's how I got this idea of making BCH weekly news to let both the East and the West community keep updated with what is going on with BCH. Because for Chinese players, they chat a lot in WeChat, but for the West side, they chat in Telegram and Discord. So there is an info gap, and I think the weekly news bridge that gap. And later, Akane helped the weekly news to get published on Coin-Ataku, a very big crypto media in Japan. That is really amazing. And for the Big Boys, Big Blogs live streams, is that I used to get many people ask me who is in charge of BCH and who besides Ji Hanwu and Roger Ver. Are there anyone else that support BCH? So these questions makes me realize that I need to introduce more BCH wheels to them. So I started this BBBB series of live stream to invite BCH developers, investors to the public. And recently I've been working on the BCH101.com. It is an introductory website for BCH in general. I bought the BCH101.com domain 2 years ago, but I never know what I gonna do with it until this year when Smart BCH is launched. I see so many new users don't know how to set the Smart BCH network, don't know how to interact with DEXs on it. So that I think I can make this website be something like an introductory website to provide these basics materials for these new users. But I myself is not capable to deliver so much work. So thanks to everyone who pledged on Flipstarter, and now I have budget to hire more editors to deliver work. That's
Thank
it.
you very much.
Well, can I ask a few more questions, Cindy?
Please, please.
Sorry, because how Cindy's marketing stands out. It's like she, I think she knows like how to reach the audience in the right way, and the numbers that she get gets are like really extraordinary. Like, for example, like she gets like, I don't know, 7,000 live views of some interview. And how does she do this? And she creates like a Telegram group and does some like airdrop, and she gets like more than 1,000 people in like 2 days or something. And to me, that's really good marketing. And she's obviously, you're doing a good job. And like, I kind of want to know, like, want you to sort of like share with us, like how differently you are marketing in maybe the Chinese community.
Oh, for that, airdrop is one cash token was created on Smart BCH, and now so many people are incentivized to set the Smart BCH network. So I thought, in order to attract new users, we must offer them some tokens on Smart BCH first. So I connected the founder of Cash and asked him to offer me some cash to do this airdrop. And I asked some of my Chinese media friends to help me promote this news. And then because you know the China banned crypto thing, so we cannot do it in WeChat. So in order to protect myself, I newly created this Telegram, and we got over 1,500 new users coming to join the Telegram overnight. See, John, that is the power of crypto.
Wow.
Thank you very much. I would really like to hear a little bit more about bch101.com. So is that going to be just a Chinese site or just English, or are you planning to make it multilingual, or what's the plan here?
For now, it supports 4 kinds of language: Chinese, English, Korean, and Vietnam. Now we already got the English, Chinese, and Vietnam editors and translators. But we are still hiring the Korean one.
I see. So if people are interested in getting set up with Smart BCH, should they visit your site, and that will help them figure out the correct settings, what they need to do? Is that a good place to start?
Oh, yes. So at the website, people can see different columns like Smart BCH, BCH-based projects, BCH weekly news, and BCH network discussions. And we have a category column where you can see all the communities on BCH network, like Satoshi's Angels, Cast tokens, Mr. Swap and Swap, anything like that. And we have all the we offer all the analysis tools for people to search projects they need, such as we have links pointed to market cap, marketcap.cash, things like that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And Alejandro, could you tell us a little bit about what's going on in your part of the world?
Yes, well, as everybody knows, or doesn't know, I'm from Venezuela. So Bitcoin Cash, we've been doing a lot of work here. I've been in the Bitcoin Cash community since 2017. And recently, last year, I joined Satoshi's Angels. I thank Akane for the opportunity of being part of this wonderful team. And I've been helping Satoshi's Angels around the meetups around the globe about Bitcoin Cash. It's been a huge task to follow up with all the meetups. But right now we have 75 meetup groups registered within the database of Satoshi's Angels. We have reached to 55 meetup groups that are active right now around the globe. And we have 21,000 members, registered members in those meetup groups. So it's a big number of Bitcoin Cash potential users and users. thanks to the work of Satoshi's angels around the globe. That's part of the work I've been helping with. And then we have merchant adoption that I would like to talk about, because right now, Venezuela, as you know, from many statistics around the globe, we sit at number 7 in cryptocurrency adoption. But within the merchant adoption campaign of Satoshi's Angels, we rank number 1. So we have reached, what's the number here? Can we share a document so can I see the data I'm looking at?
Yeah, please.
I'm gonna send it here. So I send it through the chat. Okay. Right now we have 205 merchants in Venezuela only. Bitcoin merchants registered within the merchant adoption campaign of Satoshi's Angels. Remember that this started last year, and we have committed to 6 months of merchant adoption campaign, and we extended throughout the year. So the numbers looks good. So far, so good. Around the world, we have onboarded 404 merchants globally within this merchant adoption campaign. And from the cashback campaign, we kind of talked before, we have received until today 12 applications for cashback. So that pretty much summarized part of the work I've been helping Satoshi's Angels with. From this part of the world, from Venezuela, I think Bitcoin adoption is steadily growing up. I think we can do a lot of work here. People knows the currency here, which is important. Last time I checked, we had a poll run by a local newspaper here in Venezuela, a nationwide local newspaper, and they showed Bitcoin Cash as the number 3 currency in the top of mind of people that they interviewed. That's huge. So that's a really interesting number. So.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I see that's a huge number of merchants in Venezuela. Would you say they're concentrated in one city, or are they distributed amongst the whole country, or how would you say the distribution is like?
Well, right now, the merchant adoption campaign for Satoshi's Angels has a big concentration of merchants in Venezuela within Barquisimeto, which is a state here. And that's thanks to the work of Roberto, one of our partners in Venezuela, that is doing a great job down there.
I also
Can I ask
wanted
a
to
quick question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, thank you. I just wanted to add that Alejandro also shows up in like local radio shows and TV shows and talks about Bitcoin Cash, which I think it's really amazing. So
yes, I have a weekly show, TV show and radio show that I host that it's called Crypto Assets, Positive Crypto Assets, and I promote, of course, Bitcoin Cash.
Sorry, John, you had a question?
Yeah, actually, should I ask now or should we wait until later?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay, all right. So I wanted to ask both Akane and Alejandro. So when it comes to the meetups, there's a large number of them and a lot of different people involved. And we're talking about marketing and kind of that includes messaging and making sure people have the right idea about Bitcoin Cash, that they have the idea of how they can use it, what they can do with it, whatever. Do you guys provide some kind of guidance to all these meetups, or some kind of messaging or guidelines or something like that?
yeah, so each meetup has like organizers that have different ideas. But we do, like, for organizers like who just started their meetups and like have no idea what to talk about or do, we do provide some guidance, and we have some articles that we've written about like how to start meetups, like what to do during the meetups and things like that. And yeah, and we're also available like that to just get to talk anytime if the organizers need support. So, okay. And we also do a monthly organizers meetups over Zoom, and it's like a private for organizers, but we share like updates, like what's going on in meetups, like the challenges, and like if the organizers have questions, like we can ask each other and we just help each other, among the experienced organizers. So
wow, great. So that's similar, Alejandro. I guess that's just part of everything that Akane said. What you do?
Yes, we try to provide some guidance and follow up with all these meetup organizers. We have registered 97 meetup organizers around the globe. So we try to be reaching them frequently, or if they need any help, we try to provide guidance for them so we can solve any issue quickly. Also, as I kind of stated, we provide some startup fundings so they can share within the meetups and help people understand how Bitcoin Cash work and how easy it is to use it.
That's great. That's a very common thing that I've seen that that maybe many people don't realize. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of support going on to make sure things work at all levels and all different aspects of things. Technical side, developers for the meetups. Obviously, you guys are supporting people for adoption. Yeah, and it takes works and it takes hands and feet to make those things happen. So that's great. I didn't know you guys were doing that much support for the meetup.
We try to connect these meetup leaders with developers when issues arise around the wallet. For example, a couple of months back, we have an issue with Argentina in the wallet, and we connect the developers team and solve it right away.
Right.
I just wanted to say, like, it's not like, we all the meetups need our support, but like we're here to support anybody who need support, because, a lot of like organizers are very experienced already and like they're learning their own and quite well. So, but we're here to just, support if anybody needs support. So.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
I see Saqib has his hand up. Would you like to jump in here?
Thanks, Phil. A quick question for Alejandro. Venezuela, is obviously a fascinating place. It's become like a hunting ground for cryptocurrency. And I'm curious if you're able to debate, do you find much competition with other cryptocurrencies vying in Venezuela and South America as a payment gateway, or is like literally everyone talking about BCH? I'm curious to know the competition for attention and how much you're fighting that to get kind of adoption.
Well, right now in Venezuela, we have tough competition. In the past, we had Dash community here doing strong marketing strategies for a while. Now it's not the same, but the name stayed, all right? So right now, Bitcoin Cash is on top of Dash in Venezuela. We see that number 3 in the top of mind. Dash is in number 5. Number 1 is obviously BTC. And then we have the local Ethereum, And then we have the government cryptocurrency Petro here in the top of mind of people. So our competition obviously is Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum. But as we know, those are not means of payment. They are used as payment, but they are not designed to do that. Okay, so if we rule out and we focus only on cryptocurrencies that can be used as payment method, that born that way, we are number 1. But still, the majority of users that doesn't know this little detail, well, they go through BTC or Ethereum because they are very well known in very much the cryptocurrency space. So that's the issue we are having right now in regards to competitions with cryptocurrencies.
Oh, I also got a question.
Sure.
Oh, I'm always very curious how you start this conversation to persuade a merchant to accept a crypto.
You're asking me, Cindy?
Yes.
How I approach a merchant to accept cryptocurrency? Well, first I try to get closer to merchants that I know because I do business with them. That's my first way to go there. And pretty much I start talking about if they take cryptocurrencies as a mean of payment. And then if they know something about that, pretty much what happened is I have heard about BTC. What is that? Can you explain to me? And then from there, I take the conversation and show them right away. Because the first thing I do is pull out my wallet and show them how it works. It always do the trick. People get, whoa, is that easy? That's the only thing I have to do? Yeah, it's that easy. And then I explain about cryptocurrencies, what we are doing, what we are talking about cryptocurrencies really. But that's after. First, I show them how it works. And they get hooked right away because it's easy, it's fast. And remember, here in Venezuela, we have a little issues with currency because we have our national currency is very devalued. And right now we are using dollars to pay for everything. Dollar is not the official currency here. It's not issued here. So we have cash issue. If you go to the United States if you go to a place here to buy and try to pay with cash, then you have the how to return you the difference you're paying. So that's a big issue. Cryptocurrency solve that. Bitcoin Cash solve it. So that's why I always try to reach the merchants that way.
Okay,
Show
great.
them how you can pay with it.
Thank you very much. Before we go off into different topics, I'd like to get everyone an opportunity to, of course, talk about what they're working on as well. So, John, could you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with all of the various things that you're working on?
Yeah, sure. Are you? We're gonna go ahead. You want me to go ahead and talk about the marketing aspects of what we're doing, right?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah, sure. So I kind of come at this a little bit differently, maybe because I'm not a professional marketer. That's not what I've worked on. But I do see the importance of communication and making sure that people understand BCH and that understand how it can be used. So basically, I come at it from the angle of rather than telling people about what BCH is and why, promoting BCH itself. The direction I come from is that BCH has utility, right? It's money. It's a network that lets people have a permissionless money, and you don't sell the US dollar, you don't sell the euro. You talk about what you can do with it. That's all people really care about. And so BCH does provide some unique utility that fiat doesn't provide, that other cryptos don't provide. And so I think the very good approach for marketing is just to talk about what you can do with it and utility. In line with that, I have a few examples that I just listed up, and I'll just share those. So there's General Protocols, which is the company that I co-founded with a number of other people in Bitcoin Cash ecosystem. But really the story of General Protocols is the story of AnyHedge, which is a protocol. It's a smart contract protocol that's built directly on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. And the utility there is that we just came together and said, look, there's this big problem that needs to be solved, which is the stability problem, right? And at the time that we were talking about all of this, like, 2 years ago or more, the USDT, the tether, and those issues were less controversial at the time. It was a much more accepted thing that they were just okay to use. But now there's much more controversy around stable coins, stability solutions, those kind of things. So we saw that there's a problem that needs to be solved, which is using a permissionless way instead of going back to the old ways of trusting. Right, so that utility of, hey, there is this permissionless network, and we can use it to solve the stability problems through smart contracts, as opposed to having to trust somebody that they're holding a bunch of USD in their back pocket. Yeah, so on the micro scale of that, there's when we first got together, we had to identify what it is exactly we were going to work on, and we identified that problem, and we identified a solution. And I'd say that for the people out there, anybody who's listening to this, thinking about what they might be able to do, even at a micro scale, you can start there, right? Identifying problems, figuring out how to solve them, and then communicating that to other people. And that's a very micro kind of marketing that you can do. And I hope people will do that. It really kind of boils down to the entrepreneur's playbook, right? Find a problem, find pain that people are having, and solve it. And Bitcoin Cash provides tools to solve a number of problems, and it's going to solve more and more problems as it develops, as the protocol develops. So that's general protocols, any hedge. Another thing that I've worked on, which has a marketing aspect to it, is Flipstarter. So there it was the same thing, right? The entrepreneur's playbook. There was a problem up in the air, right? How do you fund infrastructure? How do you fund things that aren't exactly a company? How do you fund development of a common assets or the nodes and other types of infrastructure? And it was an open question that said, no, that's not, some people said that's not solvable. You have to solve it with, well, there was various controversy around solutions on it. So it came down to the same thing, marketing and saying, hey, look, we have this network. It does this thing called permissionless money, and you can do pretty smart things with it. And so we set up the equivalent of Kickstarter, except it's all trustless, and you don't have to trust the person that you're pledging money to give it back to you if things don't work and so forth. And we communicated that. We just said to people, hey, look, there's a way to do a thing here. And not only is there a way to do it, we're going to put it together and show you how to use it. And it solves a very specific problem. And now it's, sorry for the noise here. Now that solution has solved almost, maybe it's over now, but it's about 10,000 BCH worth of campaigns. So it's done a lot with not so much marketing. I mean, there was a lot of article writing and so forth, but I think the bigger part of it was that it solved the problem, and people needed that, and it solved problems for other people, and that kind of markets itself. Another one, totally different kind of aspect, is a guy that I met on the website read.cash. His name is Max. He lives in southern Nigeria, and he, in line with all these others, he's an entrepreneur. He has issues in his home, in his community, in his area, and he has learned skills to solve different things and provide services to people. And he writes about those and lets people know about them, communicates. He just continuously updates and lets people know what he's working on. And then at some point he ran into some problems where he wasn't able to solve them by himself with his own resources. So, he basically put out a proposal. Hey, I want to do this thing, but I don't have the resources for this, but I do have a track record. Very standard entrepreneur, but he used Bitcoin Cash to fund that, and then he used the Bitcoin Cash in his community, and he has people paying now for water, produce from his farm, and other things. So he's also onboarding merchants and so forth. So yeah, again, entrepreneurs doing things are I think the best marketing. I have a number more. There's actually one in Barquisimeto in Venezuela. So there's a guy named Ramon running a bakery, and he sees the value of having people use Bitcoin Cash, and he has an idea for how that can work with a bakery and so forth. So there's lots of examples, but yeah, what I want to say is that that basic pattern, that actually using it, being successful, making money for yourself, or running an organization, that's been the most effective marketing that I've seen, is having that. And I'm sure there's also other effective types of marketing to do, but those aren't my area. So this is what I have seen that's successful.
Really great job.
Thanks, Cindy. No token for general protocols yet. I'm sorry. I know you're disappointed with us.
So,
sorry,
go ahead.
John has a good point about, like it's like more like organic type of marketing, right? Like people think of meetups or like these little communities of people, and like they seem kind of irrelevant to marketing, but it's actually very related. It's like more organic, more grassroots type of marketing, because once you start using Bitcoin Cash and like you start, sharing that with other people, and people realize like how useful it is, and people start spreading. So it's like more like a, how do you say, like organic type of marketing, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, being successful and showing somebody that you know how to make money or make a living with this thing, the permissionless money, that it actually does something different, that it does something valuable for you, showing people that works, making a profit, that's some of the best advertising you can get, right? When people actually are successful using it, then other people will want to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
what
I'd like to draw more entrepreneurs in. I think they are maybe some of our best marketing possible.
So you talked a lot about utility, and that basically markets itself. So Flipstarter, of course, there was no advertisement campaign at all. You guys made the protocol, and then just like, hey, we made this thing, and of course it solved a problem that was very prevalent at the time, which is how do we get funding for stuff? And even today, people are launching new Flipstarters all the time, and provided a fantastic service to the community. So thank you for working on that. It's certainly made sure that a lot of very important people and projects are able to survive and continue contributing. So thank you very much.
You hurt me deeply, though. I spent actually hours and hours and days writing articles.
but I mean advertising, as far as like, there's no ads on Reddit or like anything like that. Of course,
I get it. Yeah.
Plenty
and actually it
articles,
is arguable, right? Like you could argue maybe if you just take all those away, would it have just worked just as well? It's very possible, right? Like it's hard to say what it is that drives people to use something that made it catch on.
For sure.
Yeah. But
yeah,
it did solve a problem. It solved a specific problem. There's no question about that.
You didn't mention Bitcoin Bull at all. There was a bit of a advertising campaign going on Twitter about that. There was the mystery of what is the image. Would you like to talk about the inspiration of that at all?
Yeah. So General Protocols as a company, right? Where we are and will continue to be more of a behind the scenes services B2B type of company that serves the network, right? As opposed to building products. But now we're in a position that we have the resources and we have the time, and we decided, hey, let's go ahead and and put something out there. And actually that's the BCH bull. And it's just, you know, it's great marketing, it's positive, it's exciting. That's how we want people to think about it. And there's a little bit of a secret that BCH bull doesn't just mean that you think the value of BCH is going to go up. Of course, many people think that, including me, but it's that just using BCH is bullish. It's kind of the hidden message in there, right? So it doesn't matter whether you're long or you're short or whatever you think is going to happen. Using it is the bullish thing. So that's the BCH bull. So that's coming out, and not only that, but BCH bull is going to come out. We're going to show the world how to use UTXO. Maybe I could explain that on another meeting, but UTXO is something that's going to be important. People are going to end up understanding more about UTXO. It's been neglected for a long time, but we're developing smart contracts, DeFi on UTXO. The BCH blockchain is UTXO, and we'll have a white label solution that's open source. Anybody can use that and create their own products with it. And that's kind of the vision of General Protocols, is doing that. So once we get to the place where people can use it, that success is, like I said, that success is going to be the marketing, right? People will say, hey, they're obviously making money doing that. I want to do that too. And we'll say, okay, here you go, use this and do it, go forth and conquer, do better things than we have done. That's kind of the gist of our marketing.
Thank you very much. Saqib, maybe not a lot of people are aware about what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. Could you let us know what's going on in your world, surgery and Bitcoin Cash? How do these two things meet?
Yeah, that's a great introduction. First, I wanted to comment on John's discussion about entrepreneurs and flip starters. As far as I'm aware, and I might be wrong because I'm not a cryptocurrency expert, I don't think there is any other crowdfunding platform in the whole cryptoverse like Flipstarter. And entrepreneurial effort is reliant on having the tools to reach an opportunity. And as well as what John's mentioned, he didn't mention the fact that myself was lured into Bitcoin Cash by word of mouth and Flipstarter, and John's effort in nurturing me and understanding my use case of Flipstarter. So I really want to mention that Flipstarter is probably one of the most powerful tools that Bitcoin Cash has, not just for Bitcoin Cash developers, but for entrepreneurs outside of the development world who want to use Bitcoin Cash for real use cases. So I don't think that can ever be underestimated. Does anybody else know, is there any other crowdfunding platform like that in the whole of cryptocurrency?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, it really should be cherished. It really is like a tool that can change things, and that's probably a nice way to introduce One.Surgery, because that's really how we got involved in Bitcoin Cash and how we've kind of fallen in love with it, and how we've now branded ourselves as a Bitcoin Cash organization. We come from
just a quick intro to mention, because somebody will get mad listening to this, but Ethereum at least does have some funding solutions, that like quadratic funding and some other ways that they do funding. So they are there. Yeah, and like Flipstarter, they have their own issues and foibles, but yeah, there are some other things out there.
I think Flipstarter must be one of the top ones. At least it should be cherished and promoted. One.Surgery is very unique, I think, in the whole Bitcoin Cash economy and ecosphere, because we're not motivated by cryptocurrency and we're not motivated by Bitcoin Cash. Our use, our reason for being is really global surgery, which is the provision of safe surgical care to everybody in the world. And as we know, the vast majority of the people in the world don't have access to that. So our problems and our motivations are completely irrelevant to Bitcoin Cash. And since we started in 2017, and since I had an interest in cryptocurrency, I started to realize there was a lot of use cases for crypto. And it became a very interesting dynamic from a marketing perspective, because we had now two different communities. We have the global surgery community, which are an incredibly passionate, educated, motivated group of professionals all across the world who have no understanding of cryptocurrency and are focused on providing clinical care and improving the world in a completely different sphere. And you've got the Bitcoin Cash community who have absolutely no understanding of this vague concept of what global surgery is. So I'm sitting in the middle, and you've got two completely unique communities who have no understanding of each other. And I'm in the middle saying, I think there is a massive use case for Bitcoin Cash for one community and the other community. And it's just incredible, but how do I connect the two? And that's been the challenge of One.Surgery really since the beginning. And the strategy has always been a twofold strategy. One was to first engage with the Bitcoin Cash community and give our use case to them and explain to the Bitcoin Cash community, hey, we have something that could be really useful. We need your Bitcoin Cash. And then the second part of the marketing is then going to the global surgery community, say, hey, we've got the Bitcoin Cash guys on side. They understand what we're doing. They're going to support us. And now we're going to help show how this can generally improve our projects. So our strategy to start with was 3 or 4 months of genuine research. I think the first thing that anybody wanting to market really needs to research their audience. And if you don't understand your audience, you don't understand who you're marketing to, then I think your marketing campaign is going to fail or struggle. So I'm really grateful to John. He spent, honestly, hours and hours and hours for months teaching me everything about Bitcoin Cash. And it's not really how to use Bitcoin Cash, but I was interested in the history of Bitcoin Cash, the block size wars, what happened in 2017, and the community values and principles of the Bitcoin Cash community versus the other guys. And it's a cliche, but I began to realize that actually a lot of the Bitcoin Cash guys are genuinely in it for the technology. They want to see a global cryptocurrency that's used for payments, how it was designed for. And so the more I read about Bitcoin Cash compared to other cryptocurrencies, I realized that this is the correct audience to market to for our ideas because it was the right crypto. And then we started pitching ideas on Read.Cash, very, very subtle, just introduced some of the One.Surgery principles. And then eventually we said, okay, let's do a flip starter campaign. And I think doing a flip starter campaign has its own challenges, as well as the fact that the technology is a little bit challenging, but marketing to the Bitcoin Cash community when they know nothing about you is difficult, right? So we had a couple of approaches. One, we had to be 100% transparent. I think that's an important concept for any marketer to have. It's like, you must be fully accountable if you're raising money. So how did we do that? We created a Bitcoin Cash ledger. So we utilized the blockchain and said, hey, every single Bitcoin Cash that we receive, we will annotate exactly what we're doing with it. It's completely transparent. We're not going to rug pull. We're not going to suddenly disappear. That money is visible. And every single transaction is going to be annotated. And we've maintained that since 2020. And then similarly with the flip starter campaigns, we created a dashboard because I was aware when I started looking at other campaigns, suddenly you go to their domain name and it's disappeared. Like, how do I learn from who donated? How did they succeed? Why did they fail? That data just wasn't there. So we created a dashboard where we're going to start collecting every single bit of data throughout our campaign. Every time we released a new marketing, image or an article, we tracked whether we got donations, who was donating, how they were donating. And so we kept that transparent and we kept our dashboards completely visible for everybody. So those are our transparency kind of concepts. And then our approach was a combination of being serious, articles, descriptions, videos on, okay, this is why we need Bitcoin Cash. And then there was a second side of it was, look, we've got to be a little bit lighthearted. There was memes, there was comics. Not everybody's going to spend time reading, the in-depth stuff. So we try to do, bits of everything. And I'm really grateful and thankful that I think our campaigns have been pretty good. And I think our marketing to the Bitcoin Cash community genuinely has been pretty excellent. We've had so much amazing support. I think we've got a lot of supporters. The fact that I'm on here talking about marketing, when a year ago, no one in Bitcoin Cash knew about One.Surgery, I think is a testament to how successful we've been in engaging the Bitcoin Cash community. And now we've got the second challenge. I'm pretty happy that we're now pretty comfortable in the Bitcoin Cash community. I think a lot of kind of people understand our use case. The challenge now is how do we translate that momentum to then tell the global surgery guys who, like I said, have no idea about cryptocurrency. It's a complete, all the myths, whether it's being used on the black market, whether it's, just a pump and dump, whether it's going to crash tomorrow. no one really understands cryptocurrency in the global health sector. And so our next challenge is, which is going to be next year, is pitching Bitcoin Cash to that community. And we're not going to do it how traditional marketing, is done. Traditional marketing would be, hey, why don't we create a video of how to use Bitcoin Cash and, adoption and all that kind of things. Actually, we're going to continue our primary objective, which was to improve the global surgery landscape with teaching about surgery, research opportunities, education, clinical skills. And by improving our projects, but integrating Bitcoin Cash into those projects, so you can get paid in Bitcoin Cash if you're involved in these projects, or you can earn Bitcoin Cash, use Bitcoin Cash, spend Bitcoin Cash because you're learning about something else. I think that's the best way we're going to market it, is by literally integrating it so it becomes seamless. Not to highlight why Bitcoin Cash is better than anything else. It's just to say, we're using Bitcoin Cash. If you want to engage in these projects, which are amazing, use Bitcoin Cash. And I think that's the way it's going to happen. We'll see. That's going to be the next challenge.
And it works with Bitcoin Cash because the law fees, right? Try using Ethereum for that, right?
No, that's right. And I think there will be a lot of questions from crypto naive people saying, well, what about Bitcoin? What about, Lightning Network? What about Ethereum? What about this ERC20? And it will give you a second platform to engage. And you will need to have that dialogue and say, okay, this is why we're using Bitcoin Cash. I kind of describe it as, you've got people who aren't wearing shoes, right? And we're wearing Bitcoin Cash shoes. And rather than explain all the different shoes on the market, we're just going to explain, well, this is why we're wearing our shoes, right? And so if you want, this is why we're using Bitcoin Cash. And I think people will realize, and I hope it will increase interest in cryptocurrency in the global health state, which is a good thing overall.
I agree very much. John, you have your hand up. Would you like to jump in?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that. Something I've heard you talk about elsewhere, Saqib, is the specific utility that BCH brings, and maybe it's not something that you will really market, but the fact that you can seamlessly integrate it into a platform that helps people do research who are living in low and middle income countries, where transaction fee is a significant amount of money. I think just the fact that you can seamlessly integrate it is one of those advertisements for Bitcoin Cash. It'll just work for commerce, which is what it's made for people to do commerce with it. So I think that's great. You don't even need to really describe them; it just does it. I just wanted to mention for the listeners that, in my opinion, those specific utilities are that it's permissionless, which is what makes it, totally borderless, and you don't have to ask anybody for whether you can publish your medical research or whatever. And then the other is that it's designed to scale, to massive scale, so that everybody can actually use it and it stays affordable for everyone, and fast and convenient. But I did have a question. You were talking about the step one that you put a lot of effort into, right? The how to market your idea, the One.Surgery to a crypto ecosystem, right? Bitcoin Cash ecosystem. Is there? Do you see some kind of shortcut for that? Because that's a lot of effort for entrepreneurs to go through, right? To have a, I guess it's kind of normal, right? In the sense that entrepreneurs are used to speaking on one side to investors and on the other side to customers. So is that just a natural thing, or do you see some way that can improve?
I don't think there's a shortcut. I mean, I think entrepreneurs are used to that, but you can't. It's like any crowdfunding platform. You can't just raise money and expect money to come to you, right? And you have to put some effort in, and you have to engage with your donors, and you have to engage with your clients and customers. And to be honest, the global health landscape and the non-profit landscape is very, very used to that. Like, we're very used to asking for money from the non-profit sectors who are giving out grants and things like that. And then we're very, very used to being accountable on the other side of it to show what we're doing for that money. And this is where kind of it boggles me, because I honestly think as a non-profit organization and engaging with other non-profit organizations in the global ecosystem, it's like adopting Bitcoin Cash has been so much easier than using any other currency. Like, it has solved so many problems that is not related to the payment of goods and services to customers. Just within the company itself, like paying your staff abroad. Previously, we'd have to use Western Union to get money to Sub-Saharan Africa or Northern Africa or India, and you'd be paying charges and waiting days. And now we have a staff roll that you just pay instantly. And there's other non-profit organizations having the same problem. And then similarly, we pride ourselves on accountability. Like, I know a lot of cryptocurrency wants to be private and be secure, but actually the whole charity sector, the whole non-profit sector prides itself on the opposite. We want to be accountable. We want to show exactly what we're spending our money on. That's what donors want. And the blockchain and Bitcoin Cash and the rest of it completely allows it. Whereas otherwise, I'd have to be creating accounts. I'd have to do my account reporting and all this kind of stuff. So we don't have a bank. We don't have a fiat bank account. We run primarily on Bitcoin Cash. It's completely liberating. And I honestly think, as well as our use cases in global surgery, we have so much non-profit use cases that I think non-profits should pay attention, and I hope they will. And I think that's what's it's going to be the next part of our pseudo marketing. We're not marketing Bitcoin Cash. We're literally saying this is how we're doing it. Like, it's great, and so it may attract attention. We'll see.
So that'll kind of validate the idea of that I was saying, right? That entrepreneurs being successful is going to be the best or excellent advertising. I guess we'll see. I hope it turns out to be the case.
Well, that's why, John, you always wear like a successful man.
You mentioned you have a Bitcoin Cash ledger system, and also a platform for showing accountability for your Flipstarter. Are these publicly available tools? Or are they just for you? Can you make them public?
No, they're completely public. So, for example, the Flipstarter campaigns. The problem with the Flipstarter application is that, well, the way we used it, because we're not completely tech savvy, but we had to use DigitalOcean, and that charges $30-40 a month of server costs. And once you've got your funding, you don't want to be having to maintain that application. And so we didn't want to maintain the Flipstarter application, but we did want to collect and keep all that data. So now the domain name forwards you to our dashboard. So it's flipstarter.one.surgery and flipstarter2.one.surgery. And that basically has transposed all that data publicly onto our dashboard. So you'll be able to say who donated, what their comments were, how they donated, the block sizes, how much they gave, at what time frame they gave. And then we also got all our marketing material. So all our comics, all our articles, all our interviews are all there. So you can almost kind of collect all that information. And then anybody who wants to copy that method will like, hey, all our material is here, just go ahead and use it. And similarly with the ledger, it's all available. It's all completely public, and you can go through our entire history since 2019, what we've spent our money on, where it went, and you can check and see genuinely whether we did achieve what we wanted to. And you can see our balance, and there's nothing to hide. It's like, hey, we've got 30 BCH from a recent Flipstarter. We haven't spent it yet because we haven't started the campaign. But what it does do, because I'm aware that I'm in a unique situation of using Bitcoin Cash to solve other issues, it makes me realize there's actually a lot of things that I wish could be better. I wish there was a better wallet. I wish there was a better way of paying, a payroll. I wish there was a better way of annotating, our Bitcoin Cash ledger. We do it pretty well, but it's not integrated into the blockchain. And so there's lots of ideas that you keep coming through. It's like, oh, I wish this could be better. And I think the more people are saying, who are using it to say, I wish it could be better in this way, I think that will motivate developers rather than developers trying to figure out what we want.
Excellent. I'm very curious about this ledger system, and I'm going to check it out. If possible, could you send me a link after, and I'll add it to the YouTube description so other people can check it out as well. I think for people who run flip starters, I think that would certainly help in future campaigns as well. If you could very clearly show this is the money we got, and this is exactly where it went down to the single Satoshi, that would be really, really helpful for future campaigns. So we talked quite a bit today about three very different ways of marketing Bitcoin Cash, and of course, we don't have, Bitcoin Cash doesn't have a foundation or a centralized fund or anything like that. We are completely decentralized. Is there anything else going on outside of our own work that you guys have seen that you thought was particularly useful or helpful, or something you want to emulate or think other people should pay attention to? Anyone feel free to jump in here.
Okay, I just wanted to say, as we can see, Bitcoin Cash has a lot of good use cases already, and history, and great development team, and great community, active community, and which is really rare. And but I think we need to start making more noise, so that more people will notice Bitcoin Cash, because maybe some people don't care about the price and stuff, but a lot of people do. And yeah, I think that aspect of marketing would be much needed for Bitcoin Cash, and I think a lot of audience agrees, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that as well. And as for Satoshi's Angels, what we're trying to do is make Bitcoin Cash information available for a lot of people, the Chinese community and globally in English. And a lot of people care about the, what's going on in each coin, right? And I'm talking about the aspect of investing, right? A lot of people invest in coins. A lot of people buy coins, and how they judge that is they need information about the coin, what's going on, what kind of development is going on, how's the community, and things like that. And so, but there isn't a lot of information available about BCH, in my opinion. In Japanese market, it's it exists, but it's close to not really existing. So yeah, what Cindy was saying before, in Chinese market, you can't find information about the upgrades and development, right, of BCH. And but this, we're going to talk about later, I guess, about development, right, Beijing. But we are having discussions, and our community is so active, and it's very rare. I think we have the most active community in all crypto. I don't know every crypto, but that's my impression. And we have to really use that and push forward and raise the value of BCH, so that we can do more with BCH. And yeah, so what Satoshi's Angels is trying to do, is make the information available and digestible. Those discussion about development, we would make a summary video, a recap video, and Eli 5 explain I'm 5 graphic, so that readers can understand what's going on BCH. And we also partner with Chinese media, Japanese media, and the Japanese media, which has 1 million monthly views, Coin Partner, former Coin Otaku. They published the summary of one of the network's discussions about Bitcoin Cash's development and things like that, and people are interested. And also we can't really ignore, of course we want to focus on utility. Utility is really connected to raising the value of BCH as well, but we can't ignore the what do you say, speculative market, how do you say, the people that would support the cryptocurrency, and people people like easy to understand information, and some fun stuff, or price prediction sometimes, and things like that. And to give you an example, sorry to be long, but Cindy, Cindy does a good job writing news in a really fun, exciting way. And she wrote one time, Jihan Wu said in the Chinese community that, BCH is gonna do well. Like we actually said, like the price is gonna explode. And we translated that in Japanese, and like Coin Partner published it. And that article became one of the top read articles. So like, yeah, the people are interested in those kind of things as well. And yeah, I hope I make sense.
Yes. So I think what you're saying is that we are really enthusiastic about the fundamentals of BCH and how good and useful it is. And to that end, we tend to ignore the whole price aspect of it and pumping it to the moon, etc. So
I think it's important. I think Cindy agrees.
I agree as well. I agree. Yes. Sorry, did somebody? I thought someone was saying something about. Did somebody have their hand up? No.
I had a few things to say.
Yes.
I didn't have my hand up though.
Ah.
So yeah, your question about other things that are going on. I was thinking about that while Akane was talking also, and three that just jumped to mind are obviously Roger Ver. He has been outrageously consistent since the early days of Bitcoin about what Bitcoin does, why it's valuable, how it can help the world. Like that message has basically never changed. You can watch his videos from 8 years ago, and they're pretty much have the same message. It's very powerful. That consistency is very powerful. So I really appreciate what he does, and it must be rough for him, right? Because there's this entirely incorrect understanding that like Roger Ver created Bitcoin Cash, and it must be very frustrating for him. But he's very consistent, and he supports Bitcoin Cash. He's a great marketer for it, right? Another one is Kim.com. So he says he's doing something with Bitcoin Cash with his new service. And I'm not sure about the details of that, but what I wanted to mention was that when it comes to marketing and communication, he's one of those people who can masterfully sit at a table with people who think Bitcoin Cash is the devil incarnate, right? Is literally evil. And he can just have a conversation with them and not really get into a fight, and just talk about why it's good and how it's useful and the utility and the future value. And he can talk about all those things without really having to talk down about somebody else. I think that's very impressive, and it's something that everybody can learn from, to maybe watch how he talks about things sometimes. And another that doesn't have a specific name, but there's a lot of individuals out there, right? Maybe they're influencers or YouTube or they're Twitters, or they're looking for, to have a better following. So they're looking for inside information and alpha on investments, or they really just love crypto, or they love Bitcoin Cash, or they are, have a certain political thing that they want to accomplish with Bitcoin Cash, whatever it is. But there's a lot of individuals out there talking about things, more and more actually, especially with the arrival of Smart BCH. And I think they're great. It's pretty amazing to see so many different people that I've never seen before all over the place, with all kinds of original content and original ways of looking at things and communicating what's how Bitcoin Cash can be used and why it's valuable. I love seeing all of that. So yeah, not to mention all around the world, all the people working on different adoption projects and having their own vision for how adoption can happen and trying to make that happen. Yeah, I've seen a lot of distributed marketing going on.
Very true. We are completely decentralized, and therefore our marketing tends to be as well. Saqib, you had your hand up. Is there still something you'd like to say?
Yeah, I probably forgot my earlier point, but a couple of things I like. And I'm still really sad that there's a song by Disloyal on the podcast site or something. I really like that song. I'm always really sad that it's had like 500 or 1,000 views because I listen. Probably 300 of those are mine. But there's a nice advert. What's amazing about Bitcoin Cash? You know, a lot of people say that it's not centralized marketing and therefore it's haphazard and therefore it's a problem. But I honestly think that in the way cryptocurrency is working right now, it actually is a unique proposition that Bitcoin Cash is so decentralized in its marketing mechanics. And as long as you've got lots of passionate people doing passionate things all around the world, things happen in South America. I know there's a city in Australia that's like adopting Bitcoin Cash, and everyone's doing their own little thing. I honestly think that might become actually a more powerful way of marketing than having a command and control center. And I kind of have a metaphor of it being a little bit like the coronavirus. It's not a bad thing that Bitcoin Cash like coronavirus is, but the coronavirus doesn't have a command and control center. It didn't say, hey, I'm going to start here and then I'm going to go here and here. It started in Wuhan, let's say, went to Italy, then Spain, then Europe, then America, then Africa, and it just like seamlessly became a pandemic. And I think that's almost like how a decentralized marketing network is going to happen. It's just lots of passionate people doing their own thing, and eventually it will amalgamate into a Bitcoin Cash pandemic. That's probably potentially more powerful.
I hope we can phrase that in a little bit more happy way.
I don't know if somebody's got a better word for it. There'll be a whole vaccination program against it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Cindy, would you like to jump in here?
There are two things that I always want the BCH community to do more. One is that I think we should do more hackathons to attract the developers community. And the other thing is that I don't think we have a foundation that we can grant to encourage those developers to make projects on Smart BCH or BCH.
Thank you. John, your hand is up. Would you like to comment again?
Yes, I would. Kind of in line with what Saqib was saying, and somewhat related to Cindy's statement also, related to development. So there's the big upgrade coming in May, and that's going to be a very significant improvement to Bitcoin Cash, which was established very carefully, especially given recent history with Bitcoin Cash. We've learned the value of stability and that the network being stable, reliable is extremely important, and communicating that. And for that purpose, related to the upgrade, there's no central party that says, hey, this is the upgrade and this is what's going to happen. Right. And so on that point, we have the CHIP process, the cash improvement proposals process. And that is what we use to establish consensus on what it is we're going to do and how we're going to upgrade things and so forth. And then present that to miners and exchanges and other stakeholders. And without the ability to, have a central party that says, this is the thing, coordination becomes much more important than it is in most settings, like in a typical corporate setting where there's a top down. It's really easy. You just say, hey, this is the messaging that the marketing team came up with, and that's that. Everybody goes with it because that's the way it is. So what happened in this case was we have the process which lets us achieve what's going to happen in the upgrade. And I would love to see more communication about that, because I think this is it's an incredible thing, and it doesn't exist in other places. It doesn't exist in other cryptos. I don't know of any other places where it really exists. So having the chip process is amazing. I'd like to see more communication there. But then we also, one person came up with a template like, hey, when we communicated, it would be good to be professional and have all the, typical information available. And they put that up for other people to review. There was some feedback. And then people just organically started making their own communication about what's going to happen in the upgrade. They said, hey, we're doing the upgrade. It includes all the things that we've discussed and agreed on through the process. And these are the things. And another organization posted something. And those weren't top down, right? That there was a kind of a template that somebody came up with, but that they improved on it and they made their own, and somebody else made their own. But in the end, they're saying the same thing, right? Just in their own way for their organization's purposes. So that coordination, as opposed to somebody telling everyone what to do, is pretty impressive. And I'd love to be able to market that more. Anybody who's out there who's looking for cryptos that do something unique, Bitcoin Cash does a lot of unique things.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to thank John for like coordinating, among all these, services and people in the BCH ecosystem, because stability is like really important, right? And stability, like we were talking earlier, the other day with John, but that stability is connected to marketing as well. It's good PR for BCH because a stable coin is a good coin, So I just wanted to say that. You're working so hard.
I don't like stable coins. I like pumping coins.
not that kind of stable, stable in a way that, we're strong and we don't, split.
Pumps very reliably.
Yeah,
Yes,
reliable,
yeah.
strong, robust.
Very,
Yeah.
very
Pumps on
reliable
schedule.
pumping coin.
Yeah.
Pumps on
Sorry.
schedule.
Maybe wrong choice of word. Sorry.
Sorry. Alejandro, you wanted to say something there?
Yes, I just wanted to add that I don't think marketing decentralization is an issue for Bitcoin Cash. It is not. I think that we have to nourish that decentralization in marketing, because if you hear what everybody here had said, we have different success stories about how to market effectively Bitcoin Cash. And maybe if you give this, the marketing to someone, a single entity to drive marketing, well, they're not going to be able to see all these little details that are really, really important to develop to every community Bitcoin Cash can reach to. So I think that, as John said, what we need to do is improve communication. We need to find a way that all these marketing ideas or process that are being run for Bitcoin Cash can communicate. All these things needs to communicate with each other. Let them know what you are doing, what's working for you, so we can share that information. We can share those processes. I think that way we're gonna keep marketing decentralized, but also we're gonna raise the efficiency of it.
I think that's important.
Sure.
I'd like to add something onto that, if it's all right. Do we have time?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so just in case some people listening get the wrong idea, what we're talking about and the specific projects and cases that have been mentioned here are not some kind of collective thing, right? Each of these projects is its own project or company or organization, and they may have a very centralized command and control organization, right? And that's very effective, and it's a very proven model. Like General Protocols is a very standard company organization. Well, except that we use Bitcoin Cash for everything, and we have no location and a few other things. but what I'm saying is that if somebody has a marketing idea that they want to do something, it's totally normal and acceptable, or whatever you want to say, that could be a very top-down controlled process and system, and they just say, hey, this is my proposal, and the network, various stakeholders are like, oh, I like that, let's do that. That's totally normal and expected. Just to make sure it doesn't sound like we're saying that things have to be some kind of collective.
Sure. There's every individual group is going to do their own marketing however they see fit. I mean, I can, off the top of my head, I can think of 2 Bitcoin Cash music videos, right? There's the Bitcoin Cash Gang one from years ago, and then recently Jeremy of the Bitcoin Cash podcast made a music video as well. There's no coordination between any group or whatever to make these things. People decided that they had an idea, they wanted to run with it, and they did. The community embraced it or didn't embrace it, depending on their own personal preference. And I think that's really wonderful. We are over an hour now. Is there any final thoughts from people who'd like to jump in, perhaps share some things they're working on or anything else along those lines?
So I just wanted to say,
please.
Yep. I just wanted to really emphasize that the importance of the community, and that we cannot emphasize enough that we have the best community. And, I really I see other coins and they have communities online, but we have communities offline as well. And we have a long history, not just, the last 3-4 years of since Bitcoin Cash was born, but, it's since BTC, right? Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, we had those people working to spread the word of crypto or Bitcoin back then. And they were just having meetups, and those people, I mean, a lot of those people came to Bitcoin Cash, right? Because they supported, those who supported the idea of peer-to-peer cash. And so in my opinion, and I think it's true, that we have really the best community. And offline community is something it's not something you can build in over a few months or a year or something like that. And so I just wanted to really emphasize, and why I wanted to say that is it's connected to marketing and PR, Bitcoin Cash as well. We have utility, we have great community. And so I guess what I wanted to say is if anybody is wondering what they can do for marketing sounds like a big word, but they can, do so much stuff as an individual, by joining the community, maybe helping with the meetups or starting meetups, or maybe sharing your experience on Twitter about using Bitcoin Cash or, Smart BCH or whatever. I just wanted to say that.
That's a really excellent point. I think one thing we're forgetting is that, this is permissionless, so you don't need permission to do anything you want. When we started the Osaka Bitcoin Cash meetup, we didn't, email someone and say, hey, we want to do this. We just started it.
Yeah.
That goes for everyone around the world. If you want to start a meetup, by all means, jump in. Which I guess it brings up a good question. So what can individuals do? What can an individual do to participate or help as far as marketing BCH or getting people on board?
I'd like to say something about that.
Sure.
In line with the specific type of marketing I was talking about, which is, just being successful, and letting people see you be successful, is one excellent type of marketing. And for that aspect of it, anybody who's out there who's interested in doing things using Bitcoin Cash to do something, wants to do something with permissionless money, or needs borderless money to do whatever it is that they do, or programmable money to do whatever it is that they do that's actually accessible to everybody, not just to wealthy people. For those people, I will just say, it's not magic, right? Just follow the entrepreneur's handbook, and there's 100 of them. There's probably thousands of them on the internet and bookstores and everywhere. So just be an entrepreneur and make something that solves a problem and helps people. Mm-hmm. And understand what you're getting into, right? if you're gonna do that, you got to do it, right? You got to look for funding, and you got to really get into it. If you're gonna do an open source project, you're gonna, you need to work on the project, and you may need to help people with it or support it or whatever. So yeah, just be realistic, and I hope people will aim high. I would love to see more of that.
I also have something to say.
Please.
I think individuals can write a story and win one BCH.
Oh, please tell us more.
Yeah, so that is BCH 101 started a writing competition about with the theme of my adventure with smart BCH, and within 2 days we already received 10 stories. So I do agree with Akane that I think we truly have the best community. These people are really so passionate and so interesting. They just need some little motivation to find their places in the community. All right, that's all.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just wanted to say we can actually take a little bit from even like the global surgery community. We can embrace decentralization and everyone's doing their own thing, which is great. But I think like we're all explorers. We're all kind of standing on our own mountains, navigating our own paths and peering over the horizon onto this brand new thing that no one's ever really done before. And I think we are obligated, or we should, not work in silos and continue to share our experiences. Even if we're doing our own thing, let's share our maps. Let's share how we've got to where we are, so that somebody following in our footsteps or going on a different direction can learn from our pitfalls. And I think not working in a silo, even if you're doing your own completely unique project, but continuing to share things, I think is going to be an important way that decentralized marketing is going to really thrive. And I think we should all kind of commit to that. No matter what you're doing, whether you're an individual or an organization, just keep sharing that and putting it out there, whether it's social media, whether it's writing articles. If you keep your experiences going, I think people will learn from it. And that's what global surgeries are doing. All the organizations are completely doing different things, and we're supporting and embracing each other. We're like, hey, you're doing your thing in Malawi, and you're doing your thing in Northern Africa, and you're in Tibet. And we respect and acknowledge the amazing work you're doing, and how do we support you? And I think having that community of everyone supporting each other whilst embracing your complete uniqueness is going to be a critical part of our success. And so meetups like this and sharing data is going to be really important.
Thank you very much.
Also, merchant adoption. Sorry. What I mean, you can do, of course, you can always ask your friend's business to accept Bitcoin Cash, and that's one more merchant, right? And merchant adoption is, important, because if there are enough merchants accepting, Bitcoin Cash, people would want to use Bitcoin Cash because, you have option to use Bitcoin Cash at those merchants. So I think merchant adoption is important for marketing as well.
And don't forget, the merchants is not just people with stores. Your local service person, whatever you can think of, a locksmith or anybody who does anything. Sure, whatever their job is. Your chimney cleaner, your window cleaner, your guard. Not just brick and mortar stores. Not just online merchants. Anybody who does anything in commerce can be onboarded.
Yeah.
And our family too.
Your family, yes, of course. Friends, family, your partner, your cat, whoever has a wallet.
Just make sure it does something good for them, right? When you do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just before we go, we only have one question in YouTube so far, but we have a couple of minutes. John, would you like to tell us a little bit about what GP is doing as far as developments for BCH?
Oh yeah, actually, let me talk just for a moment. I think we wanted to have a little bit of development discussion, just a little bit. So I'll just talk generally about development. The most important thing, or the most obvious thing going on right now is the upgrade that I mentioned. And anybody who wants to read a little bit about it can look at bch.info/chips, CHIPS. And there's a link at the top that says the recommended proposal or a recommended process. And that link is incredibly important. It's a long read, but anybody who's looking for information about how does BCH work, like what's going on in Bitcoin Cash, how are decisions made, that's an incredibly important document to read. So bch.info/chips, and there's a link at the top. And then also on that page, there's a number of upgrades that have been under discussion, and the two that were that reached a very large consensus after talking with all kinds of stakeholders that they were worth doing and low risk and high value. And those are the native, they're called native introspection and better math, or big integers, some people call it. And those two basically, if I boil it down, they make smart contracts safer to write, safer to execute, easier and more fun for developers to create. And they just massively increase the range of things that are possible with Bitcoin Cash script. And there's still more room to improve. But these two improvements are gonna, I think, unlock a lot of creativity for what kind of commerce and setups people can make with smart contracts on Bitcoin Cash.
Nice.
Thank you very much. It seems like there's only one question in the chat, so this will be pretty easy for everyone. In your opinion, where do you need to find the financial resources to promote the marketing campaign for BCH? Does anyone want to take that one?
I would ask just the same question I would always ask, like, I don't mean you, like the person asking the question, but to anyone who has that idea, like, what's your plan? And if you have a plan and you present it clearly and it's compelling, history so far shows that people have pledged, without a token, without a promise of some kind of investment, with nothing like that, they have spent over 10,000 BCH on various projects who qualified with those qualifications, right? A good plan, a good reputation, and that's it. That's where the money came from with Flipstarter and some others that didn't come through Flipstarter. But yeah, I think the money comes from having a good plan and communicating it well.
And from my perspective, actually, it's a completely mute question because we don't market BCH. We use BCH. And by using BCH, we're marketing it. And it's like, how do you market the US dollar? No, you don't. You just use it. And so if you have a project that you're actually using the currency for, then marketing is how you market your business. Your budget for your marketing your business will include, the adoption of BCH. So I think that's a part of the whole decentralized issue, is that lots of individual projects market their own way for their own businesses. And that's what will market the currency itself. Whereas there isn't a central person to say, I'm going to market BCH for the sake of marketing BCH, apart from some very, passionate people who want to create, marketing campaigns. Satoshi's Angels, who are specialists in that area. But no one else, I don't think, is going to specifically say, I'm going to just market BCH for the sake of it. You're going to market your project. And by marketing your project, BCH will come on board.
Did that answer the question?
I hope so. And there's one final question from Josh Ellithorpe. What special things are people doing to promote BCH for the holidays, or to give BCH to those in need for the holidays?
Yes. Satoshi's Angels planning something fun.
Oh.
Announcing soon.
Thank you. If I remember correctly, Eat BCH has a Flipstarter up now. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yes, it's correct.
So there's one thing you can do if you want to be a little giving this holidays. Eat BCH is a great organization that helps feed people who are in desperate need of food in a few places around the world. So by all means, check out their Flipstarter and donate if you feel so inclined. They have a real good track record. I hope their Flipstarter is funded quickly. Anything else people are doing for the holidays?
Yes, sorry again. Like on the New Year's, like in Japan, there's a custom, as some of you know, like otoshidama, the money bag, money envelope. How do you call that? Like
Yes.
you're supposed to give your family, usually younger people, some money, like $100 or $50, so it depends on the age and stuff like that. But I always give that in Bitcoin Cash, like my niece and nephews, and so that everybody had some Bitcoin Cash, and like those kids grow up, knowing like they have Bitcoin Cash, and like maybe they get interested. So that's another way to,
Yeah, I did the same thing when my real good friend had both of his children. When they were born, as a present, I gave them some BCH, and they're going to hold on to it till they become of age. So who knows how much it's going to be worth in 20 years? But it's it could be zero, or it could be $1 billion. We don't know. But let's. I'm excited to find out. A couple other questions. What would the most important feature or service you each think BCH or Smart BCH could add to draw in users?
Well, for our projects, it's the instant and low transaction cost, and being able to do micropayments. I mean, our entire project on research and scientific publications is purely based on the fact that we can create 10-cent transactions and completely borderlessly and permissionlessly. So, I mean, the project uses all the facets of Bitcoin Cash, to be honest. Every single use case of Bitcoin Cash we need every single one of it for this particular project to work. But the one that's the most important is the minimal transaction fee for a very small price, so 10-cent transactions.
Sorry, the question was, could add to draw in new users. But excellent points, but the question is a little different.
I think
more One.Surgery.
Yes.
I think more like NFTs and DeFi projects, maybe.
Okay, so more NFT
I
projects.
have a specific opinion on this one. Sure. Maybe not popular and it might not be wrong, but it's my speculation that Saqib earlier mentioned, it's difficult to actually operate a business on current crypto tools because so many things are oriented around speculation. So yeah, just having some kind of app where you can do your own banking, and your business or your organization can do its kind of banking. When I say banking, right, I mean do your own banking, like literally yourself, where you can manage your funds and do savings and investment and so forth, and tracking your expenses and reporting and all of that, kind of seamlessly, using specific features of that you can't get from your bank. Yeah, that's what I would like to see. Something that literally lets you operate a business on, permissionlessly on Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, I was seconding that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you go first.
I was just seconding that. Like, I look at all the other fiat banking apps that I've got. I've got multiple bank accounts and been in different parts of the world, and I haven't found a crypto app that matches the fiat banking apps. I love my fiat banking apps. I love using them. They're easy. I can do what I want to do. And whenever I have a crypto app, a crypto wallet, I'm just confused most of the time. So I would definitely love to see more business-oriented banking crypto apps.
Cindy?
I'm going to second that too.
Okay, Cindy, you wanted to add something?
The feature, I think Smart BCH is not the most important feature, but it is really a great feature, that is to do airdrop. Because just with the cheap for Smart BCH to make a transaction is really cheap, only several cents. Just imagine if someone airdrop you some like $10 of airdrop. If it is on the Ethereum network, you need to pay even $100 of gas fees to claim the airdrop. But with Smart BCH, you don't need to do that. So I think it's really great it's really suitable to do airdrops to attract new users.
People
Absolutely.
love it.
Yeah. Please check out checkbook.cash and see if you have any airdrops waiting for you. I know that there's been many people who've been doing airdrops on Smart BCH, and recently I did one myself. So please check out checkbook.cash. See if you have any airdrops waiting for you. As far as the question of what I think we're missing, I'm convinced by today's discussion that I personally think making Flipstarter more accessible would be huge.
Oh yeah.
Having the ability to use your mobile wallet just to donate would be so fantastic, and hopefully we can have some discussions about making Flipstarter more accessible. That's
I also
just
want to be able to pledge just like the chosen amount, like 0.5 BCH, for example. Right now it's hard to choose.
the slider, you mean?
Yeah, seriously. Can't get it right.
On that point, I just want to make a quick shout out to Salim Code or Salem Code. I'm not sure how to say his name. I think it's Salim Code. He's a guy who came in from Twitter and Telegram, and he said, "Hey, Flipstarter is really cool, and I want to help with it." He's a young developer, and he's been improving it small piece by small piece to make it more accessible and easier to use. So shout out to him for his work.
Yay.
Thank you. Another question. I think there is an upgrade coming to BCH in March or May. It's May. Where can I get info on that? And what do you guys know? And how is it going to impact the BCH ecosystem? So I think, John, you're the perfect person to talk about that.
Yeah, you can kind of look anywhere. I think maybe Jason Dreisner from LibAuth and BitAuth published something, and Bitcoin Verde has also published something about the upgrade. Bitcoin Cash Node has published something. If you look on read.cash / Bitcoin Cash Node, you should find one of the most recent articles there is about the upgrade and what's going to change and so forth. And if you look other places, they'll all say similar things. I think that answers the question.
How is it going to impact the BCH ecosystem?
Yeah, so that's what I was saying earlier about the two upgrades. The two specific upgrades are native introspection and better math. And both of those impact smart contracts, making them much more powerful, much safer, and much easier to program. So they're more welcoming for developers. It's easier to develop an app once these upgrades go through.
One thing I'd like to mention as well is that Smart BCH will also be upgrading in May. So expect some new features. Shawgate, I believe, is going to be activating in May as well. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more possibilities on Smart BCH as well. And happy timing. They both happen the exact same day. So.
And if you want to read a little bit more detail about that, you can go to blog.generalprotocols.com, and there's a bunch of articles, and one of those at the top will be specifically about the upgrade, and it explains in quite a lot of detail, a high level, not like super technical, but at a high level explains about the benefits and what's changing and why it's good, why it's valuable, and why it's safe. So yeah, check out blog.generalprotocols.com. There's a very good article on there about the upgrade.
We should include all those links in the YouTube description.
Yes. Yeah. After this finishes, I'm going to collect links from everyone. So have those links ready, because I'm going to be asking you for them.
All right.
There are no other questions. I think we are all out of questions. So unless there are any final things people would like to talk about, does anyone have any final comments they would like to add? I'll take that as a no.
Thank you.
in that case, thank you everyone for coming. It was wonderful to hear news from all of you. Please check out Bitcoin Cash Network discussions.org for our next discussion. And once again, thank you everyone for coming today. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.